What conclusion did you come to there, lads?
I'll tell you what's giving me feedback.
Welcome to the Ought to Know Better podcast. I'm joined this week by Luke. Hello, Luke.
Good evening, everybody.
By Karl.
How's it going?
And by Adam.
Hey, how are we all?
None of whom knew that I was pressing the go button, even though I was asked to press the go button.
Well, we're supposed to be more professional this season.
Oh, yeah. All over it, mate.
Yeah.
Yo.
Sweet. So, without further ado, Karl, given that you had the dubious pleasure of attending the game at the weekend, do you want to give us a bit of breakdown as to what the fuck went on?
Yeah, I guess I can try and remember it to the best of my ability, but
he was too busy knocking folk out with bins in centre of Manchester, wasn't he?
No, I wasn't, thankfully. But I don't know. It was just a very lackluster performance. Like, I thought, like, a few people I was talking to in the stand were just begging for Calvin after we scored, just to kind of get a foothold on the game, to get 5 minutes where we could just take the pressure a bit and just kind of not be as wide open, and it never happened. But I don't know, it's a tough game to watch when you were there, because you're fucking surrounded by them assholes. What's going on?
No, sorry, I was just trying to. I noticed Gilly's got a bit of a new backing tonight. I was just trying to see what he's got on there. I can't believe he's watching England versus Italy, the Euro final.
Don't bring that up when we're talking to Casco. Nice.
They've been sound about it, like, you know.
To be fair, yeah, there were no studio, there were no stadia, there were no flags in the background.
No, I didn't. Right. I wasn't a dick. But back to the game, I thought that just we didn't look like we played better against Villarreal previously, and there was just none of that energy for me on Saturday. Koch looked a little bit lost in the middle. I know it's not his natural position, yeah. But I just think we need that cover in there for Calvin, because Koch isn't the answer.
Come on, lads.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, right? We've had him a full season, and I still don't think I'm going to be able to get through a full fucking episode where somebody mentions an innuendo with the name Cock, and I don't find funny. I'm like a school kid. People fart around me and I still giggle. Like, you know what I mean? That's the type of level of childish immaturity, yeah, that you're dealing with, yeah.
But yeah, I just think we need to get that player in. We need to get someone in there for Calvin. We can't look at Koch, go, you're the answer there. You're not. You're a centre back. You'll line up very well and play very well at centre back, and we can't rely on Fawshaw playing a few under 23 games to come back in and be up to speed in the Premier League. We need a player in there. We need someone now. Like,
was that the only place?
I was on Joe's.
The number 10. I wouldn't play Rodrigo in there anymore. It's just not working. He doesn't. Look, we'll get on to your Rodrigo action now in a minute. But
before we go down that, I think against Burnley, against Southampton, against sides that aren't going to be in the position where they're really going to press and hurt us, we might get away with it. But when you're playing against somebody that's spent hundreds of millions of pounds on their midfielders, it kind of leaves us short.
Yeah, and I think he kind of left Click short as well in a lot of areas, because his tracking doesn't seem to be what's needed in that position at the moment, you know. We defend from the front, and Bamford absolutely busts his bollocks to get around and put the pressure on where it's needed. And I don't know, Rodrigo to me just seems a bit lackluster at times. I'm not slating the guy. He had a great end to the campaign last season, but he was playing in the striker's position whenever he did play well. So I don't know. He's just not the number 10 we're looking for. He leaves the midfield too exposed at times for me. But
okay, fair enough. So, Adam, do you remember any of the game?
Yeah, I remember bits of it.
Gonna give us some insight?
Probably not, mate. That, if I'm honest, now. What I mean, honestly, what's there to say about it? You know, we got tonked. We didn't turn up. We were shit. We got overrun. But unfortunately, that's what's going to happen when there's fucking two midfielders. Like they've spent what have they spent on Pogba and fucking Fernandes? More than we've spent probably in our history on two players, and they're going to tear you to pieces, especially if you're carrying an extra player. We were carrying Rodrigo. Our midfield is so light, and the way that we set up it was either going to go one or two ways, wasn't it? It's either going to go really well and we turn them over, or we're going to get dicked, and that's the beauty of Leeds. So for me, it's just is what it is, isn't it? We're gonna get tonked a few times this season, I think, unfortunately.
I agree with you. I think we will get tonked a few times. I think we'll be found out. Especially just to elaborate on what you said there, Adam. We come up against two world-class midfielders on top of their game, and we were playing to compensate that. We were playing two of our three midfielders weren't midfielders. We had a striker and a fucking centre back playing in midfield against them. Do you know what I mean? You line up like, and Adam quite rightly says it is going to go one of two ways. It was either a masterstroke and we win the game, or we'll get fucking hammered like as we did.
And can I also? I was thinking about this on my little commute to work this morning. I was thinking, I need to look at it a bit more depth. But the home teams this season, like the first game of the season, a lot of home teams won. They got fans back for scum fans to be there to have that opportunity to fucking batter Leeds. You know, that'll get down to players, because those players at Scum, they're not playing for Pogba. They're not playing for Solskjaer. They're playing for themselves, and Pogba is a prime example of that. Is what I was about to say. You know, they play for themselves. They don't play for the manager. It's not the Scum of old that played for Ferguson because they were shit scared of him. They're all mercenaries. So if they get any opportunities, you know, a full house at Old Trafford, I'm sure, Carl, you know, the atmosphere were bouncing and all that. I just think it's a one-off, and as much as we've got to fucking sort it out, because we can't turn up and play, you know, likes of Chelsea like that, Liverpool like that, Man City like that, because we will get battered again. But I think that might
get battered by City. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt.
Pardon me?
No, as in we got battered at the weekend, we'll get battered again.
If we play like that. So I think it's an anomaly or what? There you go. I think, you know what I mean. I don't think we can read and get too panicky, because I've seen some right shite on social media. But you know,
we'll come on to our mate Danny.
Good, yeah. I forgot about that one as well. Your mate, mate, isn't it?
That's falling out with Mez.
You know.
But ultimately, I think it's a one-off. I think the fact that full crowds were back in. I think we've got to just take it, move on, and you know we might turn Everton over 5-1 this weekend because we've got our fans in there. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think we can read too much into it, given how different football was last season to how football is now. I think it's almost like last season was like we just simulated a season on Football Manager. Now it's proper again. That's how I'm looking at it. And I think it's
life doesn't actually. You know, Football Manager is not actually real, don't you, Adam?
Don't tell him that.
Why be that? I've told you, and I'll tell everyone. Adama Traore is the best striker in the world.
You
already made the real for outtakes at the end of the season.
Didn't win it though, did I?
Someone should have told GFH it's not real life. That's what you should have told. Like, okay.
So, cool. No, that's cool. So, Luke, we clearly miss Calvin. How much do we miss Llorente when he's not there?
Do you know? I don't think we would miss him as much if Koch weren't playing at centre defensive midfield. Because Calvin's so much. We're so reliant, and I said this. I was on Joe's thingy last week, just before the game preview, and I said we've become almost over reliant on Calvin now to be an additional dimension, not only in defence but in attack as well. He's almost the all-round midfielder now, isn't he? You know, he can defend, he sprays the ball around, he's got great awareness, great vision. So I don't think we'd miss. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Llorente was our best defender towards the end of last season. But what I don't think is we would miss him as much as what we do miss Calvin. If Calvin was in there, he'd shore up that defence somewhat. And I think any centre-back pairing of Cooper, Koch and Struijk would have been stronger with Calvin in there at CDM.
No, it's a fair point. And I might as well give you an opportunity, Luke, because nobody else is taking it. Ayling's goal.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the, it was pure brilliance, wasn't it? Class. Probably one of the contenders for goal of the season. If it's certainly goal of the month, if not goal of the season, and it'll be on highlight reels, I'm sure. At the end of season reviews and all that sort of thing. It was a little bit gutted that he didn't get his hair out, equalising the scum on the Old Trafford.
Where the guitar?
He played a bit of the guitar, and then the celebration. I don't know if anybody else seen me tweet earlier on this week. What the fuck was going on there? It was humping Dallas's leg, wasn't it? I actually missed it live. And I totally missed it. I totally even didn't realise. And then I started flicking back, as you do, through Twitter and watching the goal back. And you think, fucking hell, that was good. And then I sort of started looking away, and I went, and he's fucking there, started shagging his leg. Hey, football's a different game. I mean, you probably wouldn't have got players in the 90s doing anything similar unless it was Lee Sharp. But yeah, it was fantastic, wasn't it? It was lovely to watch. 1-1, back in the game. Should have probably made a couple of changes there in hindsight. But we didn't, and we ended up getting thumped. And as both the lads have rightly said, I think that might be something that happens more than regularly this season with fans back in there when home sides get the wind up their arse.
I mean, just looking at last season, I think it was marked a few times, and I think we talked about it as well, about the number of times an away side did over a home team that you wouldn't expect. So yeah, absolutely. Carl, I'm going to come to you just for a question on the weekend. In regards to having the fans around, so there were some chants. I'm going to focus on specifically the ones around Sancho and Rashford. You're not an England fan, so you can talk from a position of clarity maybe that we couldn't be able to. But in a position where we're chanting about players letting the country down, in a fixture that's so vitriolic anyway, is it really the nightmare?
Who's that alphabet for tea tonight?
Vitriolic. Have you been eating alphabet spaghetti for your dinner?
Yeah, hasn't it?
It's that new toilet paper, man.
in a fixture where that is so important to the fans, is it even a factor? Is it the nightmare that the papers and the media have made it out to be?
Not at all. Like, Danny Mills came on the radio and he was like, Beckham got it when he got sent off against Argentina. Batty got it when he missed a penalty. Platt and bleeding Southgate got it. They all got it. So why shouldn't it's football? England for club fans is on the back burner now for me. It's on the back burner. Everyone's fair game. Wasn't racist. Wasn't anything. It's a shame. It's sad that the three lads are of a coloured race, but it wasn't anything to do with race. It was purely taking the piss out of them. And anyone that twists it any other way is looking for a reason to have an argument, in my opinion. That was it. And I think it was great crack. I thought it was great. And if them players are half the players that they think they are, it fueled them when they came on. You know,
Danny Murphy said something. Danny Murphy said something similar, Carl, to Danny Mills. I think. Is that who you're on about? We're on about Danny Murphy.
Sorry, I probably meant Danny Murphy rather.
I think it was Murphy. I think Mills was fucking slagging Leeds off and saying.
I meant Danny Murphy.
But you take. I mean, you take into account. I'm pretty sure that in South America, when some player missed a penalty in some time, I think he was killed.
Yeah, they shot him in Colombia. He scored an own goal in '94 World Cup, so they shot him.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So, do you know, when you put it in perspective, yeah, fair enough that it just so happened that that it was two black players that play for Man United. I think if there were two white players, they'd have got exactly the same gene, just as Beckham did. And I think the spin that they're putting on things now to make it look like it's a racist attack is having almost an adverse effect on people who are actually trying to cut out racism within football. And it's really quite unfair.
Counterproductive.
Absolutely is.
You know, and it's just, like I said, it's just people looking to make a mountain out of a molehill when there's nothing in it at all. Nothing. Nothing like. You know, you had the them singing about Jimmy Savile at us. It's like, come on, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't wave a
Pick and
turkey
choose,
flag at
yeah.
us, talk about it, sing about
That's
it, and then
a little bit different, I think.
No.
I think that's where
Oh,
we're
that
probably
is.
stepping the mark.
It is,
And
it
the
is.
chance of Munich and things probably
that-
probably
that's-
are over the line. They're
that is
distasteful, you know.
100% over the line, 100%. But I shouldn't have brought up the other thing. But the Savile thing, it's like if you can't dish it out, don't sit there and cry wolf, like, you know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah.
I think it's a difficult one, and I think everyone's got certain opinions. Every team's got certain opinions. You know what I mean? And I think
I don't think it's difficult at all. They shouldn't have fucking missed.
I mean,
Yeah, who gets paid 150 grand a week and misses for fucking 12 yards out? The
Shouldn't have
daft
fucking
bastards.
missed. We only brought them on to take the bastard penalties, and they still couldn't
Yeah.
fucking do it.
you know what I mean? But you know, and likewise, you know, if they played for Leeds, missed them, and then I'd expect every single fan from every away team to give them shit. And
Well, you imagine, I mean, I was scared that Calvin were going to take one and that it wasn't going to go quite right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, all of the away fans at Elland Road this season would have been chanting at him.
Yeah.
And what can you do about it? You just make sure you don't miss your next one.
Yeah.
You can't change it once it's done. Okay, so to move away from that one, to move on to another fixture. The under 23 Spanks Crystal Palace. Do we even care?
Yeah.
Hey up. Dogs are going again.
Yeah, I do care. Not first of all because Steve, if you're watching this, no context humour, your under 23s are shite. But also the 23s have moved up this season into the top league within the country for under 23s, and the majority of our 23s are way off 23. You know, we've got players in there who are 17. McGurk, I think, is 18. We've got Geldart, who's relatively young.
Bate is 18, isn't he?
Bate is 18. You know, we've got some a real talent. What the fucking hell was that?
Adam, is that yours?
No to do with me. No to do with me, lads.
Sure.
It's not here. It's not Alioski, is it?
It's yours, isn't it?
Not mine. Anyway, we've got a real talented, talented group of individuals there that have gone out and they've put a real good show on for the first game of the season. Yeah, it's not first team football, but it's nice to have an idea of what sort of level of talent we've got coming through.
Yeah.
Play him.
Yeah.
Play him. I'm not having this conversation every fucking week. Play him. Play him in the first team. Jenkins looked class. Yeah, they were.
Somerville.
Who's removed him?
It weren't me.
He's gone. I think there must be something up with his computer. We'll continue.
I think he tried to get rid of me and it backfired.
Oh, there he
He's
is.
back.
Yeah, don't do that.
Do what?
What happened?
I've got some additional special keys on my keyboard because I'm a geek like that. And, pressed one of them by accident and closed the browser window.
There you go. So I think I've seen the highlights, and Jenkins looks class. We're missing a midfielder. He's lightweight, but fuck it, Calvin was when he started. Play him. If he's playing like that, as you're saying, he's stepped up into this elite league, Division 1, right-footed challenge or whatever the fuck we call it these days. I don't care. Play him if he's good enough. If he ain't, I don't care about it.
When you're talking about looking class in the development leagues, Forshaw looks head and shoulders above everybody else. So if we're going to play a midfielder out of that side, surely it's going to be him.
Well, no, because he'll break halfway through. So play a young lad who we're going to get some who we're going to get some value from.
We might as well play him anyway, aren't we?
Nah,
should we give Somerville a run out in the likes of that towards the end of that Scum game? Like, should we start giving those players a run out?
I said the same thing too. I was commenting on somebody's post about the 23s, and I said, surely Somerville offers us more than Costa, for instance. Looking, and I know he's only playing 23s football, and he's only played against other 23s and the odd first team that's coming back from injury and stuff. But he looks a different class in that league. And if you put Costa in that team, you look at the Ajax friendly, for instance. He played in the against the younger side, and he didn't look even on their level. Whereas Somerville just looks head and shoulders above. Not all of them, I would say, but certainly a lot of them. And I think he'd offer us a much better dynamic coming off the bench than what Costa does. When we're trying to change a game and we're bringing Costa and fucking Tyler Roberts on, they're not going to change a game. Pablo Hernandez maybe would have changed the game. We haven't got that option.
The thing is, like, I was watching Costa when he came on the last day, and there was many a time the ball was played into his feet, and he could have taken the left back on, and he chose to stop and pass it backwards. And I was just looking at him. I was like, that as looking at it as a play on the wing. That's shocking bad. Like, and you've got Somerville then who's willing to just absolutely go at anyone, no fear, no nothing, and he'll just do it. Like, so maybe if we're fucking 5-4, 5-1 down, give him a run, see what he can do. Let him.
I think with Costa as well, though, he's lacking confidence. You look at the start of last season; he was keeping Rafinha out of the team. Fair enough, Rafinha was a new signing, but he was playing relatively good and in the championship as well. And he's lost a massive. I think somebody just put Jason's just put. Costa has experience and resilience of losing. You could ruin his confidence. I don't know if that's a sarcastic comment or what, but I can't, sorry, I don't know how to read that. I don't know what.
I'm not sure. No.
But no,
maybe he's talking about Somerville. You could hurt his confidence if he's not quite as good, whereas Costa's got experience and therefore has built up some resilience.
Fair point. But yeah, I just don't think that, like Karl says, I don't think we've got a lot to lose by chucking him on if we're losing 4 or 5-1 with 5-10 minutes to go. Give him that bit of experience, and I just think he's just got an additional offering, I suppose, is probably the best way. It just offers us something a little bit different to what he's quite direct, and he goes at players. Bit like Adama Traore, but with an end product.
That way, like, come on.
So while we're talking wingers and while we're talking about development and younger players and so on, so it does appear as though Poveda is in a difficult position at the moment. If we think that, we saw pictures of him bulking up over the summer. We saw pictures of him having a particularly good time as well. I don't know if you remember some of those videos, but
pumping and grinding.
That's the one.
To enjoy himself.
But he'd put on a bit of bulk, and if there was one criticism of him when he was doing all right last season, it was the fact that he was pushed off the ball a bit easier. So you're thinking a bit of timber on him, a bit of bulk, not putting weight on, but bulking up a little bit, and you think maybe he's got a chance of breaking into that first team and getting in front of Costa, and then he's out of the match day squad for the scrum at the weekend, and then he doesn't get in the Palace squad either. And then there's stories, you don't know what to believe online these days, but then there's stories about there might be a fallout. But it just, especially with 9 subs, and we had Somerville and Greenwood on the bench and no Poveda, and he was definitely in front of them last season. So
do we know
that's one of them? No,
it could just be that. It could just be that throughout pre-season, Somerville and who else was on the bench in front of him?
Greenwood.
And Greenwood. I mean, slightly different positions, but certainly Somerville may have caught Bielsa's eye, and if Bielsa's actually thought, do you know what? He is actually better than Poveda, so he's taken over him in terms of starting position. But for him not to be named even on the bench for the 23s, just starts raising a few concerns whether he's favoured at all by Bielsa. Maybe his time is up. Maybe he's had his opportunities, and Bielsa thinks maybe, I don't know, maybe he's not. He's never going to cut here the first team. So what's the point wasting that opportunity? And let's try and get something for him or trade him, as part of a trade deal for. I seen somebody mention part trade deal for O'Brien earlier, but we'll see.
I just don't think he's good enough. Simple. And I think he's had how many?
Yeah, but what do you know about wingers? You do think Traore is?
I don't think he's a winger. I think he's a striker, mate, if I'm honest. But I think
can't finish in either position. So
yeah, well, I think Poveda. We need stats for this one, but I think he had plenty of opportunities last season, and other than against City when he came on at Elland Road early on in the season, and he looked all right. He looked up for it. Other than that, what does he do? He doesn't change the game. He doesn't duo. He's just he's a fodder. He wastes fucking a minute when he comes on because it's a sub. So he kills the game in that sense. He's just a pointless lad. And the fact he's got the number 7 shirt really fucks me off.
Yeah,
that's a special number. Shouldn't be going to Paveda, and that's no disrespect to him, but he's just not at that level. He's not a first team player.
I agree.
And if he ends up getting released, like he's been released from Barca, from Chelsea, from City, there's obviously something not quite right. And if Bielsa can't get it out of him, fucking Guardiola can't, Mourinho can't. He's had a contrast of managers, and I get they've not managed him in the first team level like Bielsa has.
What about David Hockaday? What could he get out of him?
Oh, he'd at least get him an A in GCSE fucking maths or something. I don't know, but. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, let's be honest.
I'm with you, mate. I'm completely with you. I think Bielsa's recognised that there are better players within the club that are probably younger. If we can get something for him, then we potentially will. I don't see. It's
I think that was the face of concentration.
I don't see him pushing for the first team spot, and I think we've got better youngsters and better upcoming talent. And unfortunately, potentially mixed with his antics in the summer, which we know Bielsa isn't keen on seeing his players overly enjoying themselves, shall we say, historically. I think it's probably the beginning of the end for him, sadly.
But I remember going back now. Do you remember the start of pre-season? There was I can't remember who it was. He tweeted a load of stuff about his flash car and all this, and there was a bit of a Twitter uproar about it. And I remember looking at it going, "It's fuck
not
off,
Ben Rama."
No, like a bit like Ben Rama. Do you know what I mean? He had a Bentley or some shite.
He had Louis Vuitton bag, didn't he, and all that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I remember looking at it, and people were jumping on it, and I thought, do you know what? Fuck him. Like, if he's earning that money, he can spend it on what he wants. It's not my problem. But if you get a full pre-season with Leeds United and you're nowhere near the first team and you're buying a Bentley, you're done. You're done with me. Like, I'm not going to support you. Simple as that.
Bren remembers.
Brent says, I thought he'd left to become a Sean Paul impersonator when I seen the vids.
But then I've seen Bren move on Saturday, so Bren was pulling some moves as well, so I won't be going too loud if I were you.
Interesting what Jason said. He said, sorry, not that one before. Paveda has done what he did at City. He thinks he's good enough, then sulks when not playing. Maybe that's what's happened.
And that's not going to go down well, is it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
Look what happened
not.
to Pablo last year.
Yeah, exactly. There's no. Bielsa is a big believer in the club's motto of side before self, and Bielsa is pretty much that person, and so
he personifies it, really, doesn't he?
Personifies is what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Good point, Jason.
Very good. What was the other point then Jason made?
The other one was based on the back of that. Obviously, not just about Paveda, but do we see us bringing anyone in? That's a good question.
We'll come on to that in a bit.
How are we?
We'll come on to that in a bit. But first off, what I just wanted to do was listen to some words about our partners. Better excited to announce a new partnership. 3 Retro is the retro football shop. 3 Retro was born from the love of the game, from historical nights on the Cold Terrace, and from the love of vintage shirts of a bygone era. Find the referral link and discount code in our social media accounts and in the comments and descriptions of How to Know Better podcast recordings for 10% discount on the full range. For fuck's sake, Carl.
Who's Adam?
Yes,
fucking work.
No, it's Carl opening a beer.
Oh, is it?
I didn't even put it on. I don't know what happened there. Your voice is still.
It just happened to be.
Anyway, that was 3 Retro.
It's a strange apology there, Mez.
Sorry, Adam.
No worries.
So, coming back to talking about how important Kevin is to us, did anybody see? We've dubbed him the Yorkshire Pirlo, but did anybody see what the actual Pirlo said about him?
I did.
I did.
You didn't. So Perlo were talking about actually his methods and his style. I think he was interviewed by The Athletic, and he was talking about when it comes right down to it, you can sit on the edge of your box and you can try and keep a clean sheet and try and score on the break. But do you know what? I'd rather get smashed and play the way that I play football than play that way. It's anti-Allardyce, anti-Dyche. Sorry, Luke. It's that progressive and attacking football and with flair and that's what he wanted to play. And then he said, in addition to that, it's true in England there's never been this kind of player. However, there's the boy at Leeds who's a bit of a register, but Pirlo says with a twinkle in his eye, we're a bit different. He doesn't have quite the same characteristics I have. But I love the fact that the Pirlo
recognised him.
That's great. I love that.
That's definitely
So it's no surprise that he's important to us when you've got somebody that genuinely actual world class. You know, you talk about generational talent. You talk about
probably the best ever
players.
CDM, and it's probably I would argue
Potentially, certainly in the conversation, without a doubt.
Slightly different CDM to sort of your Makaleli types, wasn't he? He wasn't necessarily you know what I mean? He was more of a deep line playmaker rather than a ball winning midfielder. But he's probably the best deep line playmaker in the world ever, I would say. Certainly.
Can I just go back on this and say, remember, Football Manager's not life and not real. There's definitely a few deals, because that's what they are. They're all named as DLP, deep line playmakers on that.
I wouldn't know, mate. I was just referring. Of course, I knew.
Yeah, you see, Miles Jacobson, if you're watching, which
you
you
little bugger.
but then we've got Pirlo talking about Calvin, but we've also got a very similar player like Balotelli and Rodrigo, because they're both fucking useless when it comes to big games. And Carl, I blame it all on you because you were telling him. So.
I think what the problem is with Rodrigo, he's yet to play and have a good run in his position. Simple as that.
What is
he's
his
a centre
position?
forward. He's a centre forward, isn't he?
He did have a good run in it. The last few games of the season where he
played well.
The goals. And this is the thing. Like him and Bamford should be fighting for that position. Like
even
Derek.
Evening, Del Boy.
Derek.
Del Rock.
Yeah. Zoolander.
Did I put you off then?
Yeah, pretty much. I think. I mean, there's obviously rumours and whisperings of. Can we go on to ins and outs and signings and things?
Absolutely, that's what we're coming on to next. Yeah, do it now.
There's obviously whispers. If Kane goes to City, then they'll look at Bamford. Now, I'm not joking.
What are you laughing at?
What are you laughing at? Like,
I mean, it's almost a Kane. It's almost if you buy Kane from Wish, isn't it? You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I love Patrick Bamford. I think his work rate's fantastic.
You're going to get his name tattooed on your forehead?
No, on the other one. I just don't think that Rodrigo is he's not as poor as his positioning. Positioning. His positioning has been poor because he's playing out of position.
His positional awareness is shite. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly what I was getting at, Carl. Exactly that. So yeah, I just think we're being a little bit unkind, a bit unfair, because if he was Spain's number 9 for a long time, and he was not. Nobody gets to play up front for Spain if you're shit, basically. We paid a lot of money for him. Adama played on the wing, mate, or right back, but yeah. Rodrigo's a class player. I don't think he's going. And if Bamford was to go, I don't think we'd miss that much. And I'm probably going to throw myself under a bus here, but I think that because I think Rodrigo's good enough to step into that position. So I think I would rather lose Bamford and get a great number 10 than not get a number 10.
100%. Do you remember when we did our worst takes of last season and I said, who would you rather have? You were like, oh, Kane or Bamford. And I said, Kane.
At the time, I'd have Bamford because he was scoring loads. At the minute, he hasn't scored this season, so fuck him.
Ah, yeah, true. Fuck
This is an early contender for the end of season outtakes.
To kind of just put another spin on that, maybe. Kane's just not turned up to play for his own fucking club.
Not only his own club, the captain of his club, the England captain. Yeah.
He's just not turned up. I mean, come on.
I love Patrick Bamford. I love him. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's great for us as a pressing forward. But I think we wouldn't miss him as much as we'd miss a world class number 10.
Yeah. If honestly, lads, let's stop. We love Bamford, we all do. If we could have got 40 mil for Bamford in a hypothetical situation, Kane goes to City, we get 40 mil for Bamford, and that would have bought us Rodrigo de Paul, we'd have all been wanking ourselves silly. So I'd
rather swap Rodrigo for Rodrigo de Paul than swap Bamford for Rodrigo de Paul.
No way.
Yeah, 100%. Bamford's more important to the way we play than Rodrigo is. I'm not saying he's a better nine. I'm saying he's more important. Rodrigo doesn't do the same jobs that Bamford does. He doesn't do that pressing.
How do you know? He hasn't had 25 games playing in a centre forward.
25 games, but he just doesn't appear to, when he does play up front, and he did get a run at the end of the season, he doesn't appear to play in the same manner.
It goes back to my thing about the Old Trafford game, where even in the number 10 role that he was playing, he wasn't pressing like everyone else was pressing.
Who wasn't? Rodrigo. Yeah, but he's
playing,
not a 10. He doesn't understand where his positional awareness is shit.
Yeah. Well, my point is that he doesn't do it up front. He doesn't do it in the 10. So if he doesn't do it at all, why would you put him in the starting 11 if you have a 10?
Good lad, Derek. Yeah, absolutely. Derek's on the money there.
We respect your opinion, Derek.
On another shout, why don't we potentially? Bamford looks more intelligent as a player. Why don't they try swapping the two of them?
Did I not say this last week?
I think you did, actually. I think you did.
Has been mentioned. He's a very good point. I think.
Look at the pass for Rafinha there against Fulham that Bamford slipped in.
Yeah.
Look at the pass for Dallas against Leicester away that he slipped in there. He's got a pass in him, like he can fight. He's a skillful player.
Yeah,
don't take Rodrigo out. Put him up front and swap Bamford in the 10.
Bamford could quite easily be like a Teddy Sheringham type number 10 player. He's not got much pace, but he's got a good reading of the game. We were talking. I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been you, Gilly, over there about. But it was about number 10s and how the number of 10s.
Don't have any other mates.
To be fair, it's twice as many.
Who's my other mate?
Hi, Dave. How the number 10 has evolved. Your number 10 was like was a big centre forward. You had like Heskey and Owen back in the day. Your number 10 was a big lump, and then it's changed.
Niall Quinn.
Sutton and Shearer.
Do you know what I mean?
Ferguson. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I think Bamford would be a really good Teddy Sheringham-esque player, and then you play somebody off him. So yeah, Carl, do you know what? I've never thought of it like that, but I think you're fucking spot on with that, mate.
Wow.
Any other? Yeah, we've all agreed on something. Fucking hell.
Right, I'm logging off. Fuck this. This is the Aggie pod that I want to be on.
Man, this is another outtake for the end of the season.
What about
the time we all agree?
Lewis O'Brien kid that's playing tonight for Huddersfield then, because there's still a lot of speculation about him.
I don't fuck all about him, mate, if I'm honest.
Do you think he'll get...
Sorry.
Does anybody know anything about him, realistically? Do we know anything about him?
Not enough.
I read earlier on Twitter that there was someone saying that he would probably fit into Bielsa's style because he likes to pressure a lot. He likes to, for want of a better word, he likes to be Aggie when he's not on the ball. So he the way this lad described it
only be out ball, not whip ball.
Pardon?
Only be out ball, not whip ball.
Not whip ball. The way this lad described him, it was brief in a tweet or whatever, but it sounded very much like a player that Bielsa would want. That he said he doesn't stop running. He said he just runs and runs and runs and runs.
Yeah, but then you put me in that shirt on a Saturday and I'd fucking run about as well. It don't mean he's going to be good enough to play tonight.
Well,
I'm shy, but I'd still run about like a dickhead. We don't need runners. We need fucking quality.
Yeah, but he might be that quality, like.
And if he's
Who-
better than what we've got in the under-23s, then what are we doing with the under-23s?
So
Bring
who else?
Jenkins in.
Who realistically, then, who do you think we should be bringing in before the end of this window, if we could? Generally speaking, I mean, and be sensible. Who do you think? How do we improve before the end of this window?
Who's
The
out there?
Brazilian lad, is it Chunga?
Cunha.
Cunha,
Sounds a bit
whatever.
fishy to me.
That Belgian lad. I'm not going to say names. I'm just going to say countries, and he better know.
Which Belgian
That
lad?
Belgian
What
lad.
position?
No,
Kevin De
Lang.
Bruyne. I'm
Noah Lang.
reasonably certain Kevin De Bruyne would improve
Noah
us as a
Lang.
side.
Noah
Yeah.
Lang.
Nandez, is it?
Nandez.
Nandez.
So which one of those do we
Nandez.
bring in realistically then? Because they're all going to be worth 20-30 million.
Because there was talk about Nandez today more so than Noah Lang, but then I saw someone go, strike.
But did you
and
see
what's
why?
his name why?
He's been linked with
Because
Spurs,
West Ham, I saw him linked with West Ham today. I didn't see him.
Who's that? Lang?
No, Nahita Nandez.
He was
So
going
he's-
to go to Inter as well, wasn't he? So I don't know if his
Yeah.
agent's just drumming up a load of interest in him, but
Yeah.
But
I
the
think
only
it's
reason
gonna
we
be
get
mad.
mentioned is because we were mentioned earlier on in the window. And once another club's mentioned, it was like, oh, Leeds target now going wherever.
That's how we
I think of the three of them, I think the most realistic one is probably the young lad Noah Lang. And I don't know why. I've just got more of an inkling towards that. And I think because for some reason as well, I don't know if Bielsa has been thinking about maybe playing Rafinha more centrally.
You think?
It's just an inkling. I know we didn't see anything in pre-season that hinted towards it or anything like that. I've just had I think it's just because he got the number 10 shirt as well. It just made me think outside the box somewhat, but could be way off.
I think a number
Well,
of
he's
these
more than got the
clubs
talent to
nowadays.
do it.
Ryan Kent, another name.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'd love Ryan Kent.
Look, like Adam said there, you could put him on the pitch and he'd run around like a headless chicken and he'd get away with it. And
Well, the thing is,
I could do the same in the Scottish League. I'm not going to take a piss like that. It's a pain. It's like it's a friend, take Messi.
play
off
two
the
good games
bench,
this season, don't you? Do you know what I mean? But I think I was talking, one of my pals is a Rangers fan, and he was saying about Kent, his head's not in it, his head's gone. He don't want to be there. We've been linked with him for 2 seasons now. For me, we don't need wingers. The last thing we need is more wide. We need to strengthen up in central positions. So for me, it's got to be Nandez, or if you can't get Nandez, it's got to be O'Brien. And as much it pisses me off to say this, I think we missed a trick for not going in for Gilmore before he went to Norwich. I really do, because that's our one position we're really fucking short at.
He's a workhorse. He's a box to box. He's a good player. I think we missed out on him as well. Do you
not think we'd be looking at maybe a bit more than that?
Do you not think he's good enough?
We don't know what the club's got. We don't know what we've got to spend. It's so cloak and dagger this season. You know what I mean? When we saw, we just don't know fuck all that's going on.
Norwich didn't buy him. We've Bielsa's been burned once. Like we didn't want that lad from Chelsea who's now gone to Palace.
Somebody mentioned earlier, just while we're on the topic.
Why should we develop someone else's player?
I get it. I fully get it.
Without an option to buy at the end. Like, look what happened to Ben White. Like, that could have been us making that kind of money on him or whatever, Yeah,
but then he got turned inside out by fucking Brentford. So come on, we've not missed out.
That's harsh. I mean, he would have to try and cover Xhaka as well.
He's playing 3 men's job there. Like, he's playing with that chap.
Yeah, but Calvin's playing fucking 10. Do you know what I mean? This is the problem with Leeds at the moment.
We had this earlier on coming. This was really early on before we started, actually. Well, not before we started, just after we'd started. Can't see any more transfers because a lot of fans, I'm sure, think that the Augustine transfer is costing us, which makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Having to pay out 20 million quid that you think that you don't have to pay out. It's a lot. It's not just a few quid. It's a substantial amount of money that would have potentially gone toward, if not paid, for one of those 3 players I was speaking about now. Do you know?
Are they still disputing that?
I know. I think we've had to pay it. I think we have to pay it.
No, it went to court and it was found in favour. It was found against Leeds. but Leeds have then submitted an appeal, which is subject to appeal. So, the club will be planning for the worst and hoping for the best on that.
Yeah,
but
you can't spend the money and then
exactly.
if you have got to pay it 3 months down the line and I mean, it probably wouldn't skin us, but they've probably done a due diligence on how much money they've got to spend this season, how much, what value they've got to spend on wages and everything. And if they've still got this 20 million hanging over their head that they potentially still are out, they can't go and sign a 25 million player if that takes them over budget. It's as simple as that.
I think that's what the thing with the Nandes transfer, wasn't it? We were going to pay something for a season-long loan and then a compulsory fee at the end of the season of like 30 mil, but we'd have to pay 7.5 up front or something. I've read something like that.
Who's going to want to do that with us now after the Augustine, though? Seriously.
But why are we going to do it as a club? Do you know what I mean? We're not going to burn again. Because Augustine was obviously fucking built out of biscuits as well. So, we don't have any of these compulsory fees in there. But I get completely again what you're saying, Carl. We don't want to bring players in and develop them, and then they go back to their clubs for massive profit for them. But ultimately, we are, a top. Let's be honest. Anything between 10th and 15th for Leeds is where we're at the moment, in my opinion. With that squad, if I'm wrong, then fucking shoot me on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. But
I think you're right.
But we can't. We've got to look at going to clubs like fucking Inter Milan, like these big elite clubs, and saying, do you know what? Can we borrow that lad? Because that's what's going to get us to the next attainable level. And if we have to develop them under Bielsa, that's going to be an attraction for clubs to give us their players anyway. We were talking about, is it Ricky Puig from Barcelona? That's coming very quiet. Yes, he's too lightweight for the Premier League, in my opinion, but that's what we need to be doing. And that, unfortunately, until we break into that top 8 and we go up into that level, that's what we're going to have to do. And unless we do that with these elite clubs and take their young players that they want to loan out and develop, like we're saying with the under-23s with Jenkins and all these, if they're not playing proper games, they're not going to be any good. Look at Poveda, perfect example.
Yeah,
he's not doing it. So we need to accept that we're not in a position where we can go, do you know what, we're going to drop 40 million on Nandes and he's going to be a Leeds player.
We're not going to be. We'll not be like that until we're we're pushing for Europe every season. We're not going to be spending that every season. Gordon White's just chipped in there very, very kindly, and I'm assuming this is from Angus Kinnear's interview with the Square Ball, which I haven't listened to in its total. So apparently the Augustine fee is covered separately from. I'm assuming that's from this year's budget, but I'm assuming that budget dropped based on that Augustine fee being kept separate as well. I'm pretty sure that although we still have a budget, that budget may well have been 20 million extra if we didn't have this Augustine thing over our head.
I do recall seeing
something. Make a good point, because we've had that money on standby since bleeding. We were in the championship. That money's been on standby, so he's probably.
Good shout.
Probably right saying what he's saying, because they're even back then, Angus was saying that we might not, we don't need to plan for the Augustine money because that's going to be put to one side. I remember him saying that, but
but wasn't that based more on the fact that we wouldn't have been signing him had we not been promoted anyway? I think that wasn't the point they were making back then, is that we wouldn't have signed him at all had we not been promoted. And the actual argument is the fact that it went beyond the end of June before we were promoted. And then that led to this situation where the contract states end of June. If we are promoted, we'll sign him. We weren't promoted by that point, but the argument states, the argument in favour of the finding is more around the spirit of the contract was the end of the season rather than it being a specific date. But the contract stated a specific date. So, I mean, we don't know where that's going to go. I think just to go back to what we were saying before, we look at Billy Gilmore and we look at Conor Gallagher. Those players don't come in and improve us. if we've got our first 11 available, we've got Calvin in there, we've got Dallas in there, we've got Click in there. They don't push any of those three out.
Oh, I don't know. I'd say
The
Gilmore.
kid, he's 20.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the experience. He don't come in and displace any of those players.
Who?
Billy Gilmore.
Who doesn't displace any of our central midfielders?
Our first 11, yeah. If we've got all of our first 11, not the side that played at the weekend, but if we've got our first 11 out and we've got Dallas and Click and Phillips in there, they don't push any of them out.
Argument to say if we'd signed him, if he was on loan, probably not. But if we'd signed him, I would say certainly, pretty much like Rafinha did last season. Once he'd found his feet, I think he would probably dislodge Click.
Not just in Bielsa's eyes, because in Bielsa's eyes, I don't think he does. But I don't think they were available other than the loan either, were they?
No, they weren't.
That's the reason we didn't sign him. That's the reason we didn't sign him, because we wanted to sign him permanently or with a view to buy. And I think Norwich said they'd take him on just a season loan. They're quite happy, being open to try and stay up for the least amount of money, aren't they? That's
absolutely. Yeah,
that's their aim.
Palace is in. Palace are just desperate to stay up.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of clubs, and this is why I think we're going to be absolutely fine this season. We are going to get tonked a lot, but we're going to be all right because there's far worse teams than us in this.
There's
division.
some right dross in this division this season.
Yeah,
there is.
Palace,
Brighton, Palace,
Newcastle is shit. Brighton
Norwich.
is shit. Yeah, the promoted sides. I mean, I was really surprised at the weekend.
I'm surprised Watford got fucking
Brentford looked all right, to be fair.
Yeah, they did. I was surprised at that. Whether they can carry that through the season or suffer from burnout, just to put that on somebody else, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a burnout.
Burnout.
Just to go back to the transfers thing, and you were saying about Billy Gilmore would dislodge, you reckoned Click, lads. Like,
whoa.
No, not you, man. I said the two lads there. Sorry, it's opposite when I'm pointing here, and
Just get on with it before I get the fucking egg timer out.
Okay.
No.
I think once Calvin comes back in there, you'll see a different Click again.
I hope so. I love Clicky. Yeah, I hope so. But what I'm thinking is, Mateus Click's 31 years old, is he?
It's going up that way, isn't it?
30, I think.
Yeah. 30.
Not a bit anyway.
So yeah. Hey, he's only a couple of years younger than me, Carl. Speak for yourself.
But Erling's 29 and he's over Ill, isn't he, Carl?
Sure, he's older than me anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter.
I think when you've got a player of probably let's say equal-ish ability, but one's got 10 years in front of them for their career and the other's got 2 or 3, then ultimately the goal is to transition so that the younger player becomes the regular starter. That's just natural, you know.
Course, yeah.
So that's what I was probably more getting at. I don't think he's a better player than Click. I don't think he offers more, and I think obviously Click's been with the squad for however long now, and they do play as a great unit when they play well together. But as you say, yeah, Calvin coming back in, different side this weekend. I think we'll fucking spank them, but we'll come on to that in a bit, I'm sure. Well,
it moves us on. It does move us on. So if we come on to looking at what's coming up at the weekend, so Luke, we'll stick with you. Oh, hang on. Just the last one.
Just pop in a couple of things. If we don't sign anybody, we won't see them until well after the winter. I need to see how we perform against Everton. Then we will be able to see where we really stand. Fair point. But that's what we're going to come on to now.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Luke, we'll stick with you. So I don't know if you've seen any of the team news for Everton or anything like that on their side or anything
I haven't
going
seen
on.
Anything, mate, to be honest. I've been absolutely fucking up to my head in work today, and I usually get a bit of a chance to have a bit of a scroll through Twitter, but I spent most of my day finding out who the Scouse Leeds fan was.
That worked
from TalkSport. So that's how I spent my 3 minutes in between work and on my lunch and that today.
Do you know what? It was well worth it. That was time well spent.
He'll not be calling TalkSport again.
No, and they had the cheek to reply to my tweet saying it was 100% wasn't me. I said it 100% fucking was, and then he blocked me, the little twat. But yeah, no, I haven't seen any of the lineups, but I just feel that it's a full Ellen Road for the first time in so long. You know, as a fan, the atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? It's just going to be electric from probably an hour before kickoff. I imagine it's going to be full. So I just can't see us getting beat. I just can't. I don't think Everton have strengthened that well. They've signed Andre Gray and one other. Who's the other lad they signed this summer? Somebody shy. Was it Andros Townsend?
No, they let him go.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
Townsend's Damari Gray.
Yeah,
Damari Gray, that's right. Damari Gray and Andros Townsend. So they haven't really added well. We beat them comfortably twice last season, didn't we? We beat them 3-1 and 1-0.
Yeah, Rafinha scored.
3-1 and 1-0, was it?
No, they beat us, didn't they? Did they beat us second game? They beat us at Ellen Road. We beat them 1-0 at their place because Rafinha scored.
I thought they were 2-0 away. Did we score 1
no, it was 1-0. Rafinha scored, didn't he?
Yeah, that day's ago in the bottom corner, but I thought we scored one later on as well.
Anyway, I just don't.
So much for being more professional this year, though.
Yeah, fuck knows. Who cares about Everton?
Come on, everybody in comments, get in and tell us.
Tell us what the score was last year, because our memories are fucking crap on it on OKB. So if we haven't got it written down, it don't count. But yeah, you want to see a reaction off the back of that Man United game. You know, the scum. You want to see a full Ellen Road. The lads. We're going to have hopefully Fairport and Calvin back in the sides as well. They beat us 2-1 at Ellen Road. Thanks, Gordon.
Cheers, Gordon. At least one of us pays attention.
Nice bit of optimism before I'd say we're going to spank them, though. So yeah, no, I just see a real big reaction. It's going to be. It's good. Who?
Sigurdsson. We're not allowed to say him anymore.
Well, no, he scored. We're allowed to say his name.
Sorry to interject. So
he has scored, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just see a real big reaction, and I actually see us going out and playing some really, really nice football. We saw portions of the game at the weekend where we were playing like Bielsa's Leeds United, you know. I don't know, I'm just going to mute you, mate, because I can't hear myself. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
And yeah, we saw that in portions, but unfortunately, Scum just seemed to be on their game in every position. You know, they're probably not going to play that well all season again, and we're probably not.
Everybody lifts their game for this. So yeah, I see us going out and I see us putting a real performance in, team performance, and getting a result against the Toffees for me. So there is a little bit of team news that's come out. So James Rodriguez has come out on his own. I don't know whether it was Instagram or whatever, and said that he's not available at the weekend. And so I think he did a video saying that he's not playing and he won't be back. They said it was. I understand. They said it was related to COVID for the first game, and now he's ruled himself out of the game and then signed off. I can't remember what the wording was, but he signed off with an Atletico saying.
No.
And that's the club he's been linked with.
I bought that tool in my fantasy football.
Sorry, mate.
Just say that again, Gilly. Sorry, I missed that there.
So he recorded a video saying he wasn't going to be playing for Everton at the weekend, and then signed off on the tweet or the Instagram post or whatever platform it was with a saying that Atletico fans use. And I can't remember what the actual wording was, but he has been heavily linked with them. So it looks like he's in a Kane situation at the moment, and he won't be playing.
That could do us the world of good.
Yeah, cracking player on his day. But yeah, I think in terms of team news, I'm more bothered about our team, because I know with our best team out, we'll beat the majority of that league. Do you know what I mean? Or at least put a real strong performance in. Yeah. So I'm more bothered about our team news. I expect Calvin and Fairport to be in, probably not Lorente. So we'll probably be at about 99% come the weekend, I think.
So just to expand on that then, if Calvin and Fairport come back in, who drops out?
Strike.
And
well, Dallas moves into midfield with
Rodrigo drops out.
Sorry, Rodrigo probably gets dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably go with that.
I'm going the opposite. I'm actually quite worried about the first home game, because
Is that Bruce?
Yeah, I need to let him out. Hold on.
So for me, last season was brilliant. You know, we all know that. But there were no fans, there were nobody getting on the backs. And I think, I don't know, after getting dicked by Scum 5-1, I don't know. I love our fans, but I've seen some absolute nonsense. And I just worry that if it's not going our way after 60 minutes, what we're going to be like, and how is that going to affect players that haven't encountered that atmosphere from Ellen Road before?
I don't know if we go like that.
You know, Bamper's not played in front of a full fucking Ellen Road. Click hasn't played in a proper full, has he?
What are you talking about? You do know how long these players have played for, don't you?
Are you fucking drunk?
What? Yeah, probably.
COVID's only been here for 18 months. They didn't play for us in the championship, you know.
You almost had a point.
You said Calvin.
No, you said
Bamford.
Calvin.
You said Bamford.
And Click.
Sorry. No, but
you almost had a point if you'd have said Rafinha and Rodrigo.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying
is
big players that we've had for seasons.
I'm not having that. He's talking about people speaking nonsense. And he's just, do you know what? We can't have that.
No. Hear me out.
Fed up.
He's having a mare here, isn't he?
No, I'm not.
This is the outtake of the season already.
I mean, this is where you should stop digging, Adam. Go on.
Outtake of the season. Bamford and Click have never played in a full fucking Ellen Road.
Not what it means as much, nah. Not when we're playing fucking Derby or whatever in Championship.
In the playoffs.
Jay's laughing at you.
Even Jay's got you on the strings here.
They can't even find themselves at Queen's Hotel on a Saturday night, the dickhead. Anyway,
Carl, for Christ's sake.
Who's at the shocker now?
Shall you and I just finish this one off, Gilly?
It looks that way, yeah. It's the only way we're going to get any sense.
So what I'm saying is how the atmosphere from a Leeds perspective, from a Premiership game, is massively different. The pressure, the atmosphere is massively different for when we're fucking playing Wigan to when we're playing Everton. Because we don't want to get turned up. We expect to win when we're playing the Championship. Huh?
Were you at the Wigan game?
Which one?
That one.
That Wigan game.
One where they beat us 2-1.
Yeah.
Were you at that game? Because the atmosphere was fucking electric until we screwed it.
But that's the thing. We screwed it. So the players dropped.
And you just undermined your own point.
I'm not going to argue because we're not going to be an Aggie pod this season. My point is, we could. I don't know. I just think.
When we come to the predictions in a minute, Adam, when we come to the predictions in a moment, are you going to back that up and say that how worried you are?
Get fucked, Brian.
Can I just make a point, right? I think that the fans are going.
Backpedaling like your ex-missus, you dickhead. See in a group chat.
Oh, that was a bite. That was definitely a bite.
Yeah, go on then, Carl.
Sorry, Jay. I'm sorry, mate.
I think the fans are going to be. I might regret saying this, but I think the fans might be a little bit more patient this year. Strictly because we haven't been in to see them play in the Premier League. They're going to want to. They're just. I don't think we're going to be as we're fucking this shit up again or this and that or what. I just don't think that's going to happen. Like I think you're
wrong. I think Leeds. The expectation of a Leeds fan is exactly that. We're entitled cunts, aren't we? We expect to be winning the league.
Oh, Luke!
Oh, fuck off.
So anyway, even that side, I fall somewhere in between you two because I genuinely think if we'd have got anything like a respectable result last weekend, that would have bought a lot of time to be able to bed into the season and get the season up and running. I don't think the players will now get that. So I think you're wrong on that, Karl, in that I don't think we'll see the patience there in the fans. purely because we got tonked by the one team out of our division that we really don't want to get tonked by. And I don't think that'll be there now. I think that's eroded so much of that. So I think you might have been right had we got a result there. We didn't. And the way now will be, if it's not going our way, it'll be, oh, for fuck's sake, not again.
Yeah, that's a fair point to be. Yeah. I could agree with that. But what if we get the win on Saturday?
Well, that's it. Then you might well get back inside.
Then we might as well start booking flights to Europe.
Hey, what are we going to see, Pablo? Are we?
I did notice it's very nice. I like it. Have you got the 19 on back?
I've got, but I was I was a little bit premature, not for the first time. When I ordered this, so it's actually last season's shirt, and I didn't realise what he was going to be wearing on the back. So I'd already got Hernandez 19.
Oh yeah,
it looks good though.
But he's actually wearing Pablo H 19 on the back this season.
Is he? I've seen that he was number 19. I've not seen that his name is right. Okay.
Yeah. He's still on the club last season, so he's still there in it. You know what I mean? But yeah, as impatient as ever. I had to be the little dickhead and be one of the first to have it. So I went my last season's shirt and got the wrong name on the back, but never mind.
That come out your nose then, Cal?
Nearly.
Nearly did, didn't it? So, right, I'm going to come round. I'm going to put you all on the spot now. I want some predictions, and Carl will come to you in a minute. I'm not sure yet.
No, he's not allowed. He's not.
Luke, I'm asking you first, though.
I'm going for a Leeds United win, and I'm going to go for 4-1 Leeds United.
Oh, we're not the same this time. I have written mine down already.
I was going to say 3-1.
Oh, I've written 3-1.
But because I said we're going to tonk them, and I just think they've got a lot going on over there, and for them to go through a full summer signing only Demarai Gray and Andros Townsend, I don't think their ambition is going to be there this season. Still got some
especially if they've
players.
lost James Rodriguez.
Yeah,
a good player for them last season.
Arguably their best player. So I'm going to go 4-1 Leeds United.
Fair enough, Adam. I'll come to you.
I'm going to go 1-1. Simple as that. I just don't think. I don't think we're going to be firing on all cylinders yet. I think we're just going to balance each other out. I think we're both at this point mid-table teams, and then without Rodriguez, he's like, yeah, we're just not firing at the moment, and I don't think we've got from we're gonna. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like we're going to be even in second gear and for a couple more games. So I'm going to go 1-1.
And there is a new thing as well that I was going to come on to and just ask if anybody in the comments would proffer a prediction for us. And Derek's already beaten everybody else to it. So there is a fan view that we're going to be taking this season, and Derek's gone with the 2-0 leads as well. So we'll capture that one and we'll put that forward, and we'll see if we can get a different fan each week to put that forward. And do you know what? I expect that they're going to beat us all.
Yeah, probably.
It'll be like the fans on the league table, so everyone.
Yes, that's right, Carl.
Yeah, first.
That's what we take, Carl. Thanks.
Yes,
Thanks
Carl.
for explaining, Carl.
Thanks, Carl. Yes, Carl. P.S. You're not predicting. So after last week, Gilly and I almost forced Carl to give us a prediction, didn't we, Gilly?
Almost.
Well, if we could have been in Armley, we would have probably tied you up until you give us one. But so we forced you to give one, and we all went for Leeds wins, obviously. I think all on the pod went for Leeds wins, and we got that absolute battering. So Carl, who doesn't normally predict, but we're forced to, is now illegal. He just has to go with the most common score.
Illegal. It's just illegal.
It's illegal. No, I'm making it law. OKB law. It's written in law now.
Yeah, sound.
So off the regular pod. So there are friends of the pod. So Jason and Becky both went for iodines for Leeds. So they can both get in the bin.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't cover the predictions early on, and it was for a very good reason.
Yeah.
So
what about you? What have you gone for 3-1? Did you say?
Yeah, I've gone 3-1. So yeah, what we've got. I want to come, but we need to just unmute him so I can ask him. Adam, what's your prediction?
I've said 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
I wrote draw.
Half for Desmond.
Half a Desmond.
What does that mean?
I scouted him on Football Manager.
Adam, I'm going to stay with you as we go back around the room for what is known as the greatest podcast bit in history. Is
The greatest podcast bit.
is the hot topic. So it's Mr. Waiter or Mr. Winegum. Where are you going?
I hate this fucking thing. I really do. because there's sometimes I want to go like, yeah, I love the Hawk, but Benitez has won so much in football, and he's nah. And he brought on Xabi Alonso at Liverpool, who Calvin could be our Xabi Alonso. So I'm going to go Benitez. Fuck the Hawk. Why am I so sensible all the time? I hate this fucking pod sometimes.
I've never noticed that in you, to be fair.
No.
Luke, I'll come to you.
Well, you all know how I feel after last week. I decided to go against Gilly on Solskjaer and
Yeah.
Gilly on I went against Gilly on and it came back to bite me on the arse. So I went with the Hawk last week.
Oh, we were blaming that on Carl.
No, we can blame it on everybody. To be fair, everybody burnt me. I fucking hate the Hawk. So I'm going for the El Garçon.
Oh, this was your fucking idea.
Okay.
Okay.
No, go Benitez as right. Carl, at least make it fucking come on. Don't let me down now.
I'm going to be honest with you, right? There's a guy on Merseyside who was a red. He was a red, but he's not anymore. He's a blue. So if you're going to do that, then fuck you.
Hang on a minute. So you'd rather he stayed red?
No,
is that what you're saying? You love red?
I'm just saying, if you go away from a place that you fucking did all that business that you carried on with there a few minutes ago, and then you go to their fucking literal neighbours, then you get no respect from me. It's the Hawk. Sorry. Would you like it if Bielsa...
You mean like Lewis O'Brien's going to do before the end of this transfer season?
Hold on a second now. Would you like it if Bielsa up sticks and went to Scum, would you?
Hang on a minute.
Well,
you see next door neighbours. You know I know you're from Ireland, but surely you know that Leeds and Manchester aren't next door to each other.
We're going to say, would you like it if you came from Ireland to England?
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Is he Irish or Italian this week anyway?
Fuck knows, mate. Depends. Depends. Having knock you off.
I love my potatoes.
No.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that. That weren't nothing to do.
No.
Moving on.
Swiftly.
Benitez can get fucked. I fucking hate Liverpool. Yeah. They're all twats. I can't fucking stand it. They stole our fucking postcode. They stole our fucking Champions League slot.
I'm still pissed off about that.
Fucking right I am, twats. Fuck him. Bastards.
He's the manager of Everton now.
What's the point?
Liverpool.
What's your point? He'll always be stained by the fact that he was at Liverpool.
Did you hate Gordon Strachan?
Benitez in at Leeds.
No.
That's
he should be over the fucking Hawk.
No.
Nah, I'm not even going to pull at that, Fred. That was a bullshit comment that you just made there. Yeah. We're not even entertaining that at all. Benitez can get fucked. He can get in the bin. The dirty bastard were at Liverpool.
One second. Let me just go back to the reason we do the Hawk topic, right? This is if Bielsa was to leave Leeds United. The reason we do the Hawk topic is, would you rather we went back to the Hawk leading us, or would you rather have the manager of the club that we're going to play?
No, but
you're saying you would rather have the Hawk managers.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Bielsa leaving.
That's what it's all about. That's what the Hawk topic is. Who would you rather manage Leeds United?
Who would we have managing Leeds United? It's the
and
Hawk
you
or
two are
the
actually
opposition
saying
manager.
Rafa Benitez is not as good a manager as the Hawk.
No, that's not what I said. I said he was at Liverpool, and therefore they can get in the fucking bin. He can fuck off.
He's a
twat.
traitorous
So
bastard.
basically, you're saying, okay.
Nothing to do with his ability as a manager.
Basically, I'm saying that my prejudice against Liverpool is stronger than my hatred of the Hawk.
And your love for Leeds.
Huh? No,
And your love for Leeds.
We talked about my love for Leeds. No, my hatred of Liverpool.
Okay.
I'd love the Hawk. He was the Leeds manager. He was taking us to the Champions League. He was just cut down in his prime. That's the problem.
Yeah. See, they don't
Well,
get that.
yeah.
These simple.
He wasn't given an opportunity, really, was he, to be honest?
No.
But do you know what? He did find Bielsa for us.
Yeah. It's all him.
A legend in his own lunchtime.
Really
I've had enough, lads. I think we might be done by now. Any more points to be made?
I'm starving and I need a drink of alcohol.
Yeah.
Any more points?
I've been okay. Yeah.
Just a point of well done for you, Gilly, for doing 3 Peaks challenge.
And well done for you, Adam.
We did that last week, Adam. If you'd have, I'm
You
surprised
did.
you've already watched
We
the
didn't
podcast,
order for
haven't
the
you?
list. Yeah.
To be fair, boys, I was in the pub, so no, I've missed that one. But
So you've not watched it back, you mean? No.
Right, lads, that'll be it then.
Take it
See
hard,
you.
easy.